Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and an absolute pleasure to have you with us. Look at this crazy fog of war puzzle on my screen where there's only one cell revealed, but it's got a lot of markings in it. That's fun. The puzzle's called A Very Small Flashlight. We'll look at the rules in a moment, but I'm looking forward to it. I do want to quickly shout out someone called Catherine, who wrote either yesterday or the day before on I don't know which day it was that Catherine wrote, on Simon's Rocky Rower video, and said that tomorrow is my 28th birthday and I'd love to get a shout out in a video. I've been an on-off viewer of the channel for years, but since getting my PhD earlier this year, I've watched the channel daily. I always love these videos and will continue watching as long as you guys keep making them. We'll continue making them as long as you keep watching them. How about that? And congratulations, Dr. Catherine, on your 28th birthday. I hope you get some wonderful presents and maybe some lovely cake, and have the greatest of days. I'm sure you deserve it, especially if you're a keen viewer of the channel. Thank you for saying so. Right, that leads me on to Patreon, where we have the monthly Sudoku hunt, Detective Pets by Sandra and Nala, and by Panthera. And there's some very good puzzles and quite a lot of fog in those as well. So that's good fun. Also on Patreon, of course, we have Gridogram, a new connections video, quite an interesting one. A Sabre listener crossword solve and other crosswords. All sorts of content on Patreon. Do join us there sometimes. It's great fun to have you with us. Also, in our apps, you will find a Fog of War app, which is absolutely fabulous. Classic Sudoku 2 and the Worms, and those are great value too. And there's merch as well. We've got mugs and caps and t-shirts and the like. And you can identify yourself as being part of the Cracking the Cryptic family with those. Do check out all the links under the video. We'll be streaming. Well, I'm not still 100% sure when we'll next be streaming. It might be on Monday, but it might not. But when we do, we'll go back to the Blueprints house, and hopefully my map will have been improved by then. Keep an eye on Patreon if you're wondering about that. What else have we got going on? Streaming the Friday Crossword Masterclass, Minute Cryptic, Wordle in a Minute, 2 videos a day. Welcome to our channel. And welcome to Fidrale, who we've solved before, but never with a puzzle looking like this. It's called A Very Small Flashlight, and the rules are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 will go in every row, column, and 3 by 3 box. All types of line in this puzzle do not branch or share cells with other lines of the same type. Okay, so the lines are all, obviously, they can all be in the same cell as each other. What rules do we have? We have a Knight's Move rule. So I have Knighty McKnightface here ready to tell me that those 2 cells can't contain the same digit because they're a Knight's Move apart, or those 2. That's one of the rules. Digits in cells joined by a black dot. We can't see any of those at the moment, but imagine there's a black dot between those cells. One is double the other, and all black dots are given under the fog, unfortunately, but all black dots that are available in this are under the fog. So if we reveal these 2 cells and there's no black dot, this couldn't be 2 and 4 together. The fog is dynamic, so placing a correct digit may or may not reveal fog, and correct digits don't necessarily reveal fog under themselves. Digits in cells joined by a V, finally something we can see, sum to 5. Digits along an arrow sum to the number in the attached circle. I'm going to presume that the black line we see here is an arrow, because as we go through the rest of the rules, I don't think it can be any of the other lines. Digits along a thermometer, that's the thick grey line, increase from the bulb to the tip, but we don't know where the bulb is on this one. Adjacent digits along a green German whisper line have a difference of at least 5, so that must apply between those cells. And region borders divide a blue line into segments which have the same sum. Different lines may have different sums. So no mention of any other lines, and therefore I think this line that's doing a 90-degree turn here is an arrow. The puzzle is called a very small flashlight because we're kind of shining a very small flashlight on row 3, column 3. I don't understand how that's going to be enough to actually put a digit in and get some fog cleared. But let's try and find out. Give it a try if you like on the first link under the video. I'm going to start now. Let's get cracking. So we have a very small area of no fog. Okay, there's a V here. So the digit in this cell, and indeed the digit in the cell next to it, must be selected from 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's either a 4-1 pair or a 2-3 pair to satisfy the sum to 5. Now, okay, I can take one of those digits straight out. This can't be a 1 because this thermo, that is not a bulb. And if 1 appears on a thermo, it must be in its bulb. So now this can't be a 4. So now can we eliminate something from 2? If this was this is a German whisper. Ah, yes. Yes, 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 yes. The German whisper, this digit can't be a 4 because the only digit that can be next to 4 on a German whisper is the number 9. And given the shape we have here, that would require both of these cells to contain 9s. So we now know it's a 2-3 pair. What else do we know about that? Oh, well, I bet it can't be 2. Yes, I think it can't be 2. Right, this is the blue line now. The blue line has a segment in this box that has a cell here. And it has a segment in this box that has a cell here. Let's imagine that that digit was a 2. Then the segment in this box would have to add up to 2, and that would have to be a single cell. You can't have 2 1s on the same segment because they would be in the same box, and that's illegal. So both of these digits would have to be a 2, and that's impossible. So this is now definitely a 3, and we will clear some fog. We won't clear some fog. Maybe when we put the 2 in on the other side of the V. No! Oh, that's cruel. That's cruel. This is a very cruel puzzle. Right, okay, let's just keep going then. The 3 on the whisper is touching an 8 and a 9. These two cells obviously have to be different because they're in the same column, and they're clearly on the whisper. One of them is 8 and one of them is 9. Let's not forget the knight's move, which might suddenly appear as relevant, although I don't know how. Okay, the thermo... No, well, yes, okay, the thermo first, and then the region sum line. And then I bet we get into the arrow after that. But anyway, the thermo first has a digit. One end of this thermo is lower than 3, and one end is higher than 3. Okay, I don't know. If that is the lower end, this digit is a 1. Oh, there's also this black dot rule. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of rules actually to try and keep on top of. The black dot rule was that a black dot must appear if 2 digits that touch each other have one be double the other. So that, I suppose all that I know that means at the moment is neither of these digits is 6. That's not all that helpful. So it was the blue line. The blue line. We know that the segment sum of this line is 3. So in one of these boxes, in both of the boxes, the segment sum of the blue line is 3. Only in one of them can we possibly hit a 3 immediately. In the other one, since these digits can't be 2 by Sudoku, we're going to hit a 1 first, and then we're going to hit a 2 in the same region. Now that could be here with the 1 snaking down and hitting the 2. And there would also be a black dot. Well, there will be a black dot on one side of this 2, but we haven't cleared the fog. So I don't know how we get to that. So hang on. No, I thought I was going to know what to do. One of these is a 1 and must be followed on its blue line in the same region by a 2. So if that is in this region, it's a 2 here. If it's in this region, it's got to be a 2. Well, it would have to be here because the knight's move would prevent this cell being a 2. I feel like I'm onto something there, but I don't know quite what that does. Oh, I know what this does. This is now a 1-3 pair, and by knight's move, they both see this cell. So this can no longer be the low end of the thermo, because you can't put 2 there or 1. So this is the higher end of the thermo. We'll say that digit is 4, 5, 6, or 7. I know it's not 8 or 9 because they're a pair. Now this is the low end of the thermo. This digit can't be 1 because the 1-3 pair are both looking at it. This one by knight's move. If this was a 1, you couldn't put a 1 there or there using the knight's move and it would break. So this is a 2 and this is going to clear fog. I don't know, maybe it is. No, it isn't. Oh, this is so cruel. I still have to do more. Oh, I was going to say, this can't be a 1 because there's no black dot. I don't know. There could be a black dot. Oh, this can't be a 6 because there's no black dot. We know there's no black dot between those two. Okay, I'm going to have to think about the arrow. Oh, this is weird. Okay, again, this digit can't be 1 or 3 because they both see it, both of the pair, and it can't be 2. So this, oh, it also sees the 8-9 pair, and it can't be 6 because there's no black dot. So these digits are definitely both from 4, 5, 7. And yes, okay, they can't both be arrow digits because then we'd be adding up to at least 12 and we are going to have a single cell circle. So one of them is the circle digit, and at that point we can tell that the circle digit will be a 7, the other arrow digit will be a 4, and that is a 7-4 pair. And I'm still wondering how we place any more digits. Oh, what is going on here? This is getting crazy now. It's very clever, but it's very cruel. Okay, I've found a 4-7 pair. That's for the arrow. The 8-9 pair is for the green line. The 1-3 pair, we're going to have 2. Right, since we got that 2, this can't be the 1 on the blue line because it would need to be followed in its box by a 2. And these cells are all ruled out by knight's move and horizontal and vertical sudoku. So that is a 3. No fog clears. This is a 1. Fog clears. It doesn't clear here. Even though I now know this is the blue arrow, the blue line must go through those cells. That is clearly part of the blue line. Actually, let's draw some of the green line in and some of the arrow in. Why not? Now, we've cleared fog here. I finally got to the point where I've cleared something else, and now I'm going to have to think about this. Right, well, there's a double black dot relationship. So this group of cells is either 1, 2, 4 or 2, 4, 8, because we need to double each time, and they're all different. So this middle cell in that is a 2 or a 4. It's not a 2 because, again, we get the principle that one side of this thermo would be a lower digit than 2, and that would have to be a 1. But if that was a 2, one of the black dots, well, the black dots would be a 1 and a 4, so we'd have to have 2 1s in the box. So that's a 4, and will we clear fog? No, of course not. So this is a 2-8 pair. One of these sides is lower than that 4. Ah, there's this arrow. There's an arrow going through here as well. Right. The 8 has to be in a circle, because otherwise you'd be adding 8 and 4 and maybe more things on the line. That's too high. So the 8 is in a circle. So the circle sum on the arrow is 4 plus 2, either plus another 2 or plus 2 ones. I don't think this, I was going to say, I don't think this can be the 2. Because wouldn't you then, you'd have to have a 1 in one of those cells and then a 1 outside the box. Oh, that's annoying. I think you could have a 1 outside the box. Oh, maybe we should do a bit of sort of sudoku marking. So 2 in this region can't be in any of those cells. So one of these is a 2. That doesn't. Both of these see that cell, so that can't be a 2. Whether by knight's move or straightforwardly. So we've got a 2 in one of those. Good Lord. Oh, and now we've got the thermo thing. Oh, look, there's a thermo line connecting those two cells. Can you see that in the corner of this 4 cell? Right, so, oh, it could be the low end. If that was 2, 3, 4, something big. Alternatively, this could be the low end with a 1 or a 3 here, 4, 5, 6 or 7 and an 8 here. So actually even being able to see that little bit of thermo line doesn't necessarily help. Oh, goodness. Am I missing the point now? What's going on here? We've got 4, 2, 8 as a triple. Oh, well, has that limited how we could have 8 in a circle here? 4, 2. I'm assuming we could go 1, 1. Oh, but we couldn't go into this cell because of the thermo. If that was 4, 2, and this was 1. Ah, yes, it is this thermo connection that absolutely dishes that. If this was 8, the arrow would have to go 4, 2, and it would have to take 2 ones. If that was a 1, this thermo would apparently go 1, 4, something 2. Well, that doesn't make sense. If this was a 1, that would be in the middle of the thermo, and that doesn't make sense. So from this being a 2, the only place you can get a 1 is here, and then you can't reach another box. Remember, we've got this one cutting off those escapes. So that can't be 8, that must be 2, and this must be 8. And that sees these cells, so they can't be 8. There's an 8, 9 pair looking at those. So 8's in one of those two. Then 8 can't be in these cells or these cells because of the 8, 9 pair. So 8's definitely in one of those 3 in box 4. 8 is ruled out of all of those. So one of these is an 8. 4 sees those cells and confines 4 to somewhere here. I may be overpowering. Oh, 2. That's not a 2. We found 2 in this box. Clear some fog. No. Now one of those 2 in row 5 is a 2. This 2 sees those cells. There must be something I can do with 2's. 2's in one of those in box 1. 4. 4 can't be in any of those. Oh, this is a circle as well. Right. This arrow thing goes circle, circle, circle 8, 4 and 2 on the arrow. And, well, then we either go to this 2 or we get a 1 and a 1. or even there could be a 2 here, so I don't know. But what about the thermo? We now know that's 4. This is 5, 6, or 7, and this is lower than 4. This is 1 or 3. And if it was a 1 would have to be in one of those cells in box 5. Okay, there's not many places for 8 in this column. If that was an 8, we couldn't put an 8 in box 1. That would see all of these cells, and we've got an 8 in one of those two, ruling out those. So that's not 8. So this is the 8 in column 4, and that is incredibly helpful. It didn't clear fog, but it sees both of those cells by sudoku. So 8 in box 4 is there. This is a 9. This is an 8. Still no fog. Clears. 8 in box 2 is in one of those two. Now, that does rule out both of these, because those two positions see those. That 8 rules out 8 from these cells. So there's an 8 in one of those. There's an 8 in one of these. There's only one place for 8 in this whole column. That 8 sees these cells. These 8s see those, and that pair sees these two. So that's 8 in column thingy, and that column 7. That takes these out. I didn't clear fog. I'm getting very frustrated about the lack of fog clearing. 3 in box, let's just keep doing Sudoku then. 3 in box 8 is one of those. So 3 in box 2 is one of those. 4 didn't get very constrained. 2, 9. It's doing my head in. Why won't some fog clear? 4 in column 4 is now in one of those two. I don't think that's going to be as helpful as 8s were. In fact, I should do, oh look, I can do more with 8. That 8 sees this cell, so we've got an 8 in a corner. And that cleared fog. That's going to put an 8 in one of these cells. Right. And we've got a black dot, and that is finally a positive. I had forgotten the black dot negative constraint. I haven't forgotten the Knight's move constraint, but this is a 4. No fog clears, of course. And oh no, I was going to say the only other thing is blue. Look, blue is a triangle. Doesn't that count as a line in this puzzle branching? No, I suppose it doesn't. But there is a sort of triangle of blue. Those two added together. And this one is 1 or 5. Oh, I see. That's why we know that we're confined to one cell here, because there's no branching. And the line loops into this cell. So it's not an 8. It's either 4 plus 1 or 4 plus 5. This is 5 or 9. Now there's an 8 definitely in one of these two cells in the box and not there, and we've placed 8 in box 2. And no fog clears. I think that's going to be a theme. Right, this digit can't be 5 because it's on a green line, so it's 1. That's not 4 anymore. The remaining digits in row 4 are 5, 6, 7. This is a high digit, so it's not 2. This is due to the green line, so that's a 2. Clear some fog. This is 6, 7, or 9. That 2, this 2 sees those cells. This 2 sees those ones. One of these is a remaining 2. That could all have been a little more helpful, if I'm honest. Oh, this is, no, that's on, oh, right, now we know the blue line. 4 plus 1, oh, hang on, this, yeah, again, because the line connects up there, it can't branch this way. I hadn't thought about that, but I have now. This is now a 5. How can this not clear any fog? I mean, I've got to get used to the fact it just doesn't. The other digit from 4 and 7 in this row, this one is it. and it sees that cell and that cell. So this other digit is in one of those two and one of those two, and is 4 or 7. And that's not wildly helpful. Right, 5 sees those digits and that one, so one of these two is a 5. I mean, this really is a very small flashlight, vid relay. It's just not showing me almost anything all the time. This 1 sees all of these cells, and those are already seen. So there's a 1 in one of those two, and now this is a 1, and that doesn't clear any fog. But it sees these cells and makes one of these two a 1. There are cells they both see, but they're not that helpful. I mean, they include this cell, this one, and this one. That can't be 1 now. This is tough stuff. That 2, did that get anything done for other 2s? It didn't really, did it? I don't think it did. The 4-7 pair up here, they can't go into this cell, which therefore must be 1, 5, or 6. That 5 sees those two cells. This digit, where is it in box 2? It's in one of those two. It's quite interesting. Where's this one in box 5? Not in those. And not there, because neither 1 nor 3 can be there in column 4. So if this was a 1, that would be the 1 in box 5. We'd have a 1 in one of these cells, a 1 in that cell. Already got 1 there. We'd have just having a guess at 1s, and it's really petered out badly. No. Oh, goodness. I mean, I think I deserve some clearance of fog, really. Maybe I am greedy. Oh, this arrow. That's the circle of the arrow. I could have put in the circle of the other one. Oh, no, I couldn't, because I don't know yet. But that is the circle of this arrow, which either joins up to that 2 or to a pair of 1s. But I don't know where they would be. It's not going to do anything. That's such a confusing puzzle. Right, that digit sees 4 and 7, both of those pairs, so it must be 6 or 9. And then that can't sit in any of these cells. I mean, it's a slightly interesting point. None of these cells can sit on this plus area, because they all see them. So whatever these 4 cells are must go in these corners, but that's not necessarily a 1-to-1 operation, because 2 of these could be the same. Those 2 could be 1s, for instance. And then there would definitely be a 1 here. What about this cell? It can't be 8, 4, 1, 2, or 5 on the king's move. So these 4, let's just have a think about those between them. How can there be repeats anything out of 1, 3, 6, or 9? Oh, I was about to say it does mean 4 can't go in the corner of the central box, but it doesn't mean that. If I knew these 4 had to be different, it might mean that. But as it is, no siree, Bob, it doesn't. Oh, this is frustrating. I made such progress and I'm so stuck. Um, the 4-7 pair, the good old 4-7 pair. Why is it not solving anything? Oh, this is a 1-3 pair. We've got 1 and 3 there, and they can't go anywhere else in the box. So that is a definite 1-3 pair. And now there is a 1 in one of these two cells, which I hadn't known before. I should have done. That's not too difficult to figure out. But then there's a 1 in one of these. This 1-3 pair prevents either of those cells being a 1. So the 1 in row 8 is either here or here. That's very odd, but it is true. I'm also going to note, just before I consider that, these are from 5, 6, 7, 9 and must include 9. And this is either a 4 or the last digit from 5, 6, 7, 9, and that would make this one a 4. I don't know, I find it very interesting, but do all of those 4 see a particular cell like there? No, only 3 of them do. I've forgotten the importance of some line. Oh, there's the negative constraint on black dots. That means this digit can't be a 2. That's quite interesting, because we narrowed 2 down to 2 places here. Clear some fog. No. Now there's a 2 in one of those two, and a 2 in one of these two. There's so few places where this black dot can occur. And I found one where it mattered, and you've probably been shouting about that for a while, but oh, goodness. All of these cells can't be from 1, 3 because of the pair in box 8, or from 2, 4, or 8 for various reasons. So these are from 5, 6, 7, 9, and we've got 3 cells of a quad in this row. Oh, I said something was in one of these, and I've just noticed 1 is definitely in one of those. Was that what I was looking at before? Probably is. It was 1 and 3. Yes, it was 1. So I've just noticed the same thing a different way that I noticed a moment ago. One of these 2 cells I've got highlighted is a 1. If it's there, that digit is a 1. If it's here, that digit is a 1. So either this, which would become a 1, is a 1, or this one. Again, it feels like it's useful. It feels like it's going to tell me something, and then it just doesn't do it. Gosh. This is a very, very tricky puzzle indeed. And mainly because it promises to tell you something and then just withholds that information. Wow. I mean, I know that one of these pair is from 4, 7 and the other is from 6, 9. I suppose 3 in this column is constrained. It can't be in those cells because of there being a 3 in one of those two. So maybe 3 in this column has to be in one of these 3. It does. But does that resolve anything? And the answer is no at the moment. So I'm still scrambling around, scrabbling and scraping, trying to find a deduction. There's got to be a tipping point here where when you clear some fog, things will become a lot clearer, both metaphorically and in entirely literally. 4. That 4 sees these cells. No, that's so dull. Wow, just stick with me while I persevere here. 4 in row 2 is quite interesting, actually. It is. That 4 sees all of these cells. This 4-7 pair sees that cell, which can't be a 4. And there's a 4 down here looking at that cell. So I think we're left with 4 definitely in one of these two. And that's going to mean this digit can't be 4. Is that of any significance? If this digit can't be 4, these ones are ruled out by sudoku down here. So the 4 in box 2 is now in one of those two cells. If this was a 4, that would be 4. The 4 in row 1 would have to be here. We've just worked out it can't go into this heavily... Have we just worked out it can't go into this heavily supervised cell? No, we haven't. But it is true that those two are looking straight at that. Maybe I did just work it out. Anyway, it's true. So 4 in the top row is either here or here. Oh, and I've only just seen, this is a 18473 quint. The 9 can't go there or there. So there's a 9 in one of those cells in the top row. That's going to mean that one of these 3 cells is 9. That's not bad, because they all see this cell. That one by Knight's move and these two directly. So that is not able to be a 9, and that one isn't based on our 9 positioning. So we've got 9 in one of these two. That is quite interesting, because I think I'm talking absolute nonsense. Why did I think that? Am I on the wrong digit? Why did I think? There must have been a reason. Oh, it's because I worked out that those 3 possibilities for 9 ruled that out. And then somehow I didn't think those counted as possibilities for 9, so I wanted to put one in here. Very, very poor conclusioning. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Oh, I want more fog out the way. I want to get the digit that's going to get me the fog out the way. What on earth can I do? Got to just keep persevering at this. 9, 2, 8. That 3 sees both of those cells. So 3's in one of these. They all see that cell, which can't be 3. None of these can be 3. So one of these 4 is a 3, and that's not going to get anything down. We've got 5 and 6 to place amongst these. Four, again, 4 in this row was confined to one of those two. Have I used that as much as I can? Oh, that's interesting. If this was 4, the 4 in column 5 would have to be here. Now, we might get something out of that. Or not. We've already got this 4 and this 4 in the puzzle. I think 4 might be the next useful big digit, but I don't know how to use it. Yeah, okay. There's a 4 in one of those two cells, and they both see that one, so that can't be 4. So the 4 in box 4 is in one of these, along with 3. They all see this cell, which is already not a 4 by rule. So 3 and 4 have got confined in here. This digit also can't be 1. So this is one of these magic 5, 6 or 7 digits. Why? I don't know, but it is. These two are possibilities for 1 in box 4, and that rules out this cell, which sees them both as a 1. So, given that we've got that one ruling out these cells, oh, I was about to say those two ruled out those, but they don't at all. That's just bad knight's move thinking. We've got a 9 in one of these, 4. I don't like to even guess if that could operate with the 9 in box 6. Ah, this can't be 9 because I've labelled this as 5, 6 or 7. Probably for a very good reason. Oh, for the thermo. So the 9 in the box is in one of those cells, and this can't be 9. Right, 9 in box 5 is now in one of those 3 cells, and they all see this one, which has got narrowed down to 6 or 7. It's on the green line. I mean, if that green line was to continue, it would have to continue to there. It's almost powerful again, but not quite. I can see that 1 in the central row is in one of those 2 cells, but I doubt. Okay, if this was a 1, that would see this cell, so it would put a 1 down at the bottom. Let's just ponder that for a second. That would give us a 1 in one of these 2, a 1 there. We've already got certain other 1s. That would be a 1. That would... Right, this is where the 1s in the grid would end up if this digit in row 5, column 6 was a 1. Now, alternatively, I'm just going to flash those orange for a moment. Alternatively, this is a 1 in row 5, and that leaves 1 in one of these cells and 1 there. Obviously, we've already got these ones on the go. Now, I don't think it helps, and it doesn't tell me about the orange flashing, so I'll get rid of that. Okay. It's tough. This is tough. There's so little being given away. Fidrale is absolutely hugging his data to himself and laughing at me. This digit, let's call it pink. That can't be in these cells. So pink must be in one of those 2. It also can't be in those cells. Oh, and pink is 6 or 7, so it can't be in... Well, it already can't be in those cells, and because it's 6 or 7 in row 3, it's in one of those 2. That's quite interesting. I've just noticed that whatever this is, and I'm going to give it a different color, let's make it blue, that can't be in these cells, and it's clearly not in those 2. So blue is in one of these 2. Now, blue could still be the same as pink if it was 7. 7. And then that doesn't actually clear up. Oh, that's interesting. If pink is 6 or 7, so if that was where pink is, these couldn't be pink, and it would have to be here. Right, and pink would then be there. Okay, this is worth considering. Yes, pink in box 9 would have to be here, or here, hang on, or here. Sorry, one of those 2. And then in box 7, this would be pink. Right, this is now getting slightly exciting. But not enough, not enough. Good Lord, this is tough to get anything done, isn't it? 1, 2, 8, 5. I'm looking at what's restricted in box 3 at the moment. 3 is fairly restricted as well. Those two rule out these cells. We've got that ruling out these. So 3's in one of those areas in box 3. And this digit also sees 4. So this is 6, 7, or 9. And where does that go? In this box, not in those cells. In this box, not in those cells. We're just a scintilla short of all the information we need. Right, down here in this box, because we've got the blue version of 4, 7, we need the other version in these cells. Oh, okay. If blue was a 4, there'd be a 7 in one of these cells, making pink a 6. If blue's a 4, pink is a 6. Now, if I could just falsify that entirely. It's interesting. If blue was a 4, this digit is where 4 would be in box 4. And that would be 4. And we've already got that 4. And now we'd have 4 in box 2. Oh, well, that breaks down. I mean, I'm going to take this. This is complicated, but it's right. Okay, if this blue digit was a 4, that is the only place for 4 in box 4. And then that forces this to be 4 in box 5. And now I'm going to say you can't put a 4 anywhere in row 2, given the 4s that we have in the grid. So that blue is not a 4. That is a 7. And this is a 4. And that places 4 in box 2. And now I hope the rest is going to become largely Sudoku. And I'm probably very wrong. But let's tidy up as many pencil marks as this run of digits is giving us. 7 sees that cell, can't be a 7. 7 also sees all of these, and now 7 blue is in one of those. And 7 is in one of these 3. Don't tell me it's going to do nothing else. We've got 4 there and 4 there. These digits are from 4, 6, and 9. One of them is definitely a 4. It's not going to do anything else, is it? It's not going to tidy up my 4s here or here. But maybe that 7 does more. Or maybe it doesn't. Okay, that was not the big breakthrough. I thought it was going to be quite a big one, and it just bloomin' wasn't. Oh, dear me. 2, 9. This 5 or 6 digit, is that... This doesn't quite have to be the other one of those. I mean, it's worth asking the question again, where does this go in box 7? Because it's ruled out of all of those cells. So that either goes here or in one of these two. Oh, here's another one. This digit, okay, let's get rid of the pinkness. But this digit, we'll call this violet. Where does that go in this box where it can't go in those cells? Oh, let's not call it violet, it's a bit deep. Let's call it green. That goes here. And now that digit can't be 3. And now we've placed 3 in box 2. And now these can't be 3. 3 is in one of those two, could well be in the corner. That's not going to do anything, is it? Oh, come on. 5, 6, or 7, well, That green digit in box 1 is either here or it's this blue. Now, I was going to say in both cases this can't be green. Well, that's absolutely obvious. It can't be green at all in the row. I'm trying to remember the black dot. I'm trying to remember the knight's move all the time. The black dot rule is important, I think, but we just haven't really exposed enough white cells in the puzzle to know where to use it. Oh, look, I need a 5 in row 2, and that is either here or here. I mean, okay, there's something interesting. 5 in box 2 is in one of those 3, and they all see that one, so that can't be 5. So 5 is confined to one of these. This digit is 6 or 9 now. Where does that go in box 2? It goes here, so they deserve a colour. And we'll make it red. And then they see all of these cells. Obviously red is now in one of those 2. It's such a strange puzzle. Ah, 4 there. Sorry, 4 is placed in box 2, isn't it? It's box 5. It's placed here in the middle. And that confines 9 to one of these. We already know 9's in one of the... Okay, that's not going to do anything. But the 4 here says that's not a 4. One of these 2 is a 4. Nothing is clearing any fog. I mean, I still think I'm right with everything I've put in the grid, but it's just not telling me. I mean, I could put in my foggy circle here. Pointless. This one was going 8, 4, 2, and then either 1, 1 or a single 2. I mean, I've dealt with everything I can see under the fog. It's all dealt with. It's all resolved. It's finished. But I can't do it. Okay, if this was a 6, we'd have 5 here and 1 here. Maybe, no, let's pursue these colours. Green, green. One of those 2 is green. Red, no. It's mad how hard this is. It really is. Okay, here's another thought. We've confined 5 to one of those 2 cells. That rules 5 out of these 2 on the sort of knight's move principle. 5 was also not there. So 5 in row 7 is in one of these 4 cells. And they all see that cell and that cell. No, they don't. They all see this cell, row 8, column 2. 5 being in one of those means 5 can't be here, but I don't think that that's actually resolving much. So we're going to have to go back to the drawing board again. We've confined 1, 2, 3, and 8 up here. 4 we know in the box is in one of those 2. Actually, let's just colour the 4 or highlight the 5 definite 4s that we have. There's 1 in one of those. There's 1 in one of these 2. I just don't think that's solving the puzzle. Goodness me. Oh, these digits are from 5, 6, 7, 9. I mean, they are. Is that any use? One of those 2 is a 9. Oh, and that's not necessarily true. In fact, it's absolutely not necessarily true. One of these 2 in box 1 is a 9, so that's not a 9. So now 9 is in one of these 2 cells in box 2. and therefore not in this one. Now we know that 9 is in one of these cells in row 3, and they both see this place, so that can't be a 9. It is very hard to get information out of this puzzle without some fog clearing. I mean, I'm not wrong. I know I've repeated myself a lot, but I'm still trying to solve it, and I don't understand what I've got wrong, if I've got anything. I don't think I've got anything wrong. I just don't see why I can't see a breakthrough. This one is 5, 6, 7, or 9. That's 3 of those candidates. If I could start colouring more than green and red. Well, red's interesting. That red sees this cell. This red and green see this cell. This is very tricky. This is very tricky. It's a very small flashlight. We've got that V. We've done that. We've done this black dot. We've done that one. Any more black dots going begging? I just aren't. I still have to get more digits, and they have to reveal more fog, and then I can solve more puzzle. Okay, that 1 and 1, what did we say? They both saw that cell. They also both see that cell. These digits can't be 1s, nor can these. So there is a 1 in one of these 4. And earlier I said there was a 1 either in row 8, column 2, or row 8, column 8, and that's definitely true as well. But it's true information that's not yielding any further info. Oh, just gonna have to find something else. If that was a 6, this would have to be the 6 in box 2, because that sees all the other possible positions. Then you'd get 6 in box 1 there. This is relatively powerful. I'm quite interested in this. 6 in box 6 would be in one of those two. 6 in box 4 would have to be in one of these two. 6 in box 5 would have to be there. This is all if row 3, column 7 was a 6. We're getting quite a bit of information. Then we need to confine 6 to one of these, one of these, which rule out that. And one of these 3 cells. Okay, 6. This is if 6 is in row 3, column 7, then all of these digits are 6. And then red is 9. And green is definitely odd in that circumstance. No, I'm sorry. I don't begin to get what progress we can make at the moment. I'm really struggling with this puzzle now, and I freely acknowledge that. Okay, let's assume this was a 3. Then the 3 in box 3 is there. Then this has to be the 3 in column 8. And that's quite interesting. We've already got these 3s in action and operation. We'd have a 3 in one of those cells. The 3 here in row 8, column 8 would force a 1 into row 8, column 2, which would in turn force the 2 but I don't see those breaking down. I mean, I do wonder if they create a black dot somewhere, but that one is hidden by fog, so it just doesn't matter a hoot. Have I missed another rule? I mean, we know that all types of line in this puzzle don't branch or share cells with other lines of the same type, but I don't see how it's helping anything. This arrow, 8, 4, 2, and then either a 2 or a 1, 1 pair. But we're already connected enough to that 2 to make it work. This thermo goes 2, 3, 7. The whisper goes 8, 3, 9. The green line has 2 and 1, 3 and 3. Can't go anywhere else, I imagine. Not even sure about that. Wow. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on here. This is just it's getting harder with every deduction. That's the difficulty. This digit can't be 4, 8, 7, or 9. Oh no, let's go back to the point about, oh no, I thought it was 5. Yeah, 5. 5 is in one of those cells, so it can't be in either of these, and it can't be there. And also, this 6 or 7 can't be in any of those. So both of those digits, which are sort of unknowns, are in this group of cells. I mean, that's quite interesting. It doesn't make this a 5, 6, 7, 9 quad, which would necessarily put that cell here, but it's... Okay, if this was a 5, this digit would have to be 5 because it would be the only place for 5 in row 7. Now, I feel this could get significant. Then 5's in one of those two, one of these two, one of these two in box 1. So we've located it in box 7. And this is interesting. This is definitely an interesting course. If row 5, column 2 was a 5, that's where we started. Where would it be in box 5? Ah, yes, it would be there. It would be green. Right. So if row 6, column 2 is a 5, 5 is green. That's quite interesting. That's quite interesting. If row 5, column 2 is 5, 5 is green, and we can sort of locate it all over the place. If it's 6, well, if it's 6, there's something interesting. The interesting thing I'm seeing is if that's a 6, this digit has to be 7. If row 5, column 2 is 6, this is 7. And then 7 in box 5, it ends up having to be in one of those two cells. I feel like this is actually almost a manageable deduction. But I don't know which version is wrong, annoyingly. If that was a 7, these couldn't be 7. The 7 in row 7 would be in one of these cells. And that would mean this digit couldn't be 7. So one of these two would have to be. So let's just work on that for a bit. If row 5, column 8 was a 7, one of those two I can't quite get this to break open. Oh, Fidralay, this is cruel. I'm an hour in now. This is not nice. I didn't want this today particularly. I didn't want to have to take so long and be so confused and so very, very stuck. Oh, why won't fog clear? Okay, let's go back to that 4, 6, 9 triple. They all see this cell. So that can't be 4, 6 or 9 or 1, 3 or 5 or 8. This digit itself is 2 or 7. If it's 7, 7 is green. If it's 2, which actually is very plausible, then what? Then what then if it's 2? It's interesting that it's 2 or 7. Why haven't I really looked at this before? Because I didn't really understand the power of that 4, 6, 9 triple. That's why. Okay, if that's 7, 7 is green. Then that's 7. Oh, that has to be 7 in that case. Then 7's in one of those two cells. And one of these 3. But also one of these 3. No, one of those 2. So the only 7 in row 7. Oh! So if 7's there. No, where did I start? If this is 7, that's where I started. Then that's 7. 7 is then green. That's 7. We know that's 7. Then this becomes 7. One of those two. Yeah, then this digit is 7. One of those two. That cell. Then we know where it is everywhere. So if row 2, column 7 is a 7, we've placed all the 7s in the grid. But if it's a 2, I don't know, that's not really doing much. That's so annoying. Oh, we would also have placed 2, if that was a 7 in row 2, column 7, there'd be a 2 above it. Then we could stick 3 in the corner as well. That 2 above it would place 2 in box 1 and box 7. Ah, well, I mean, I've found how it breaks if this is a 2. Let me take you through this, and it's wildly complicated, but it's going to get me unstuck, I hope. If that was a 2, is this what I was doing? Is this what I was doing? Or did I get it wrong? Did I get it wrong? No, I did get it wrong. Oh, that's so annoying. I was saying if this was if this was a 7, this digit orange becomes a 2. Then we can place orange there. Then we know orange 2 is there. Now we've got this thing about where 1 goes in this row. And if that occurs, this becomes a 1. This, yeah, and this is impossible. This is impossible now. That would be a 1. And we'd have to put 1 there, but we've just posited it, if that was 7, as this being 2. And it can't be both 2 and 1. So that is a very complicated way that this breaks. And I'm sure there's something simpler, and you please feel free to point it out to me. But I don't know what it is myself. I do know that this breaks if this is a 7, because orange becomes 2. In row 8 we get a 1 here, and now we can't place 1 in box 3. So that yellow digit is a 2. I'm hoping that that solves something else in the puzzle, but I'm fearing that it doesn't. This digit is not a 2 now. We've got a 3 in one of those cells. 8, 4, 1, 3, 2. I'm looking in the middle row. I'm hoping, oh, this can't be a 9 or a 7. That is now 5 or 6 in the orange there. I feel like it's going to be the same as that one. I mean, I can't really justify keeping these orange because that was if it was 2. And it isn't. We're still left with this 2x swing over this side of the puzzle, although we've done the other 7 2s in the grid now. For that to be a 1, maybe I should do it that way around. If this is a 1, that's a 1. It's quite interesting. If this is a 1, that's a 1. Then 3 gets placed here, and then these can't be 3. So 3 in box 9 would be in one of these cells. And now that couldn't be 3. And 3 in the middle row would be here. It's quite interesting. And I think 3 in row 8 would have to be here. And that would resolve the 2s, but it wouldn't do it in an impossible fashion. So, alternatively, different way round. For this to be 3, puts 3 in the corner and 3 here in the violet cell. And that requires this digit to be 1, which also requires this to be 1. Two would be in row 8, column 1, and row 1, column 2. Again, it's complicated, but it's manageable. It's a very hard puzzle, this. I mean, I'm sure there's no absolute giveaway in the fog bits that I'm just missing. I'm sure there isn't. I mean, I've been looking long enough. Surely I'd have seen it if there was. I think we're just stuck in a bit of a loop of knight moves and ramifications based on Sudoku that should yield 1 or 2 more digits, and they might clear some fog. But by cracky, it's not easy to see what they are. Okay, the red digit. Or I don't know, the green. Oh, the green, that's interesting. Green is 5, 6, or 7 and can't be in those cells. Oh, and it can't be there either. Green has to be in one of those 2. I've not noticed this. So if it's there, it's definitely 6. Okay, I hadn't noticed this. This might be useful. And green is definitely in one of these 2. So if it's there, it's 6. And if it's here, it's 7. Is green now definitely in one of these 2 cells? It is. It is. Isn't it? Can green be 5? That's what I'm sort of trying to ask and answer. If that was, well, you see, I may have gone too far by assuming one of those was green, by not letting that be green. So that could have been an error. It's not an error to say one of those 2 is green. Is that being 5 impossible for green? Greens would be in these positions. One of those 2. one of these three. I'm trying for green to be 5 here. One of those two. It would definitely be there in that circle, so it couldn't be here. Green being 5. Then the only place in row 7 is there. I've sort of seen this pattern before. And we end up with a green down here. So green could be 5, so I have no right to say that cell's not green. Green's in one of those three. Bother! I'd love to have ruled 5 out of possibilities for green. I really would. Okay, let's come up with some other fascinating alternative. Red being 9. That would place red in box 5 here. And that would have to be red in row 5. Then there'd be a red in one of those two. A red in one of these 4. And a red in one of those two. If red was 9, we'd be in this sort of... No, not absolutely sure I was right in box 5. I was right in row 5, but I might not have been right in box 5. So that's not a reliable conclusion either. My goodness me, Fidrelle, what are you wreaking on me here? 4, 3, 2, 8. It's mind-blowingly difficult, this. So many 5, 6, 7, 9s pencil marked around and just not getting revealed. 2 and 9 must be in these cells. 9 must be in one of these. Okay, let's try it again properly. 9 being there puts 9 in one of those two, not necessarily... it is necessarily on the right. 9 can't be in those because 9 is in one of these. Okay, that's... So my pencil marking or my color highlighting was actually correct. If 9 is there, this is 9, that's 9. And then what? And then what? Oh, then 9 would... Well, I know it's already named. It's already found in box 4, isn't it? One of those two. Goodness me. It's just not giving up in any way. Now, the alternative for 9 is here, then 9 is there, then 9 is in the corner. Then we've got 9 in one of these 3. We know 9 is in one of these 2 already. Oh, both of those possible positions for 9 see that. So if 9 was there, we've got a little 2 by 2 of 9s here. I don't know, that does rule out this cell from being a 9 if that was happening, but okay, this is a pair, but one of which must be a 9, and if that is a 9, we find 9 in box 2. Let's do it that way around. Then we find 9 in row 3. Then we find 9 in a surprising place in box 6. Then we place 9 here. Now we've got a kind of diagonal of 9s. Got 9 there. Okay, I'm slightly interested in this. This might do something. 9 in one of those two. It's going to have to be 9 in one of those two. So again, we've got this little 2 by 2. So this was starting with a 9 in row 5, column 6, and seeing what happens to 9s. Then reds would be 6s. Then we'd have a 5 in row 2, column 1. It's just not quite enough info. Okay, well, I'm going to go back to a different thing. 1 was in one of those two cells in row 8. So if it's there, that's a 1, that's a 1. And then the 1 in box 9 would have to be in one of these two, which would make that a definite 1. Now the alternative in row 8 is the violet cell, row 8, column 8. And what's going to happen then? Then we're going to get a 1 up here. Obviously, we have a fairly similar set of constraints there. I don't know. It's where is the information to allow this to be solved? It doesn't feel very fair, if I may say so. But that's just me moaning because I can't do it. 17384. I just feel like this is all right so far, and yet I can't use it to solve the puzzle. I mean, it is obviously still very possible that there is a simple thing one can do and go, that's how the puzzle resolves. But I suspect that there's one more digit I can get by some somewhat complicated. Oh, fog. Well, here's a non-complicated thing. That seems to be a 5, 6, 7 triple. Now, I took 9 out of that cell about 20 minutes ago. So this is a 1, 9 pair. Definite. And now I should, well, okay, maybe I can colour 5, 6s and 7s. So let's get rid of the red colouring. Might come back to that. Let's get rid of the blue colouring. Might come back to that, and the violet. Let's just use this as green, and that goes here. And we'll colour these other two in the central box, orange and yellow. Yellow must be there in box 9. Now, this, if it's 5, 6 or 7, would have, in fact, there is a yellow in one of these. There is an orange in one of those two. Maybe colouring for the win. If this was green, that would be green. Green would be 7. Green is in one of those two, so this can't be green. Oh, come on. I didn't even know. Oh, that's yellow because of the row. We've had green and orange. And 5, 6 or 7 being yellow. Right, one of those two or that is yellow in box 1. This has to be yellow or orange because we've limited it to 5, 6 or 7. Ah, okay. I don't know what this is, but these two cells must be these two. That's interesting. In box 1, these two cells must be these two. So one of these two is a 7. And this digit in the same box is not a 7. I feel like that means one of these two is a 7 because they're looking at it, but it doesn't work that way round. At least I took 7 out of this cell. So the 7 in this row must now be in one of these two cells. I mean, it's the most mild nonsense, isn't it? But you just never know when something might matter. And those are deductions I haven't quite had before. So these have to be selected from green, yellow, and orange, because those two must be, because they're from 5, 6, 7. Well, any digit from 5, 6, 7 is. This must also be selected from green, yellow, or orange. And this one, which can't be orange and almost can't be green. Okay, if this digit that I'm on here was green, that would be green. We've obviously got greens there. The green in row in box 1 would be this 7. We'd have to place it here in one of those two. There in the row. I mean, I've kind of looked at this before. Right, greens would, for row 5, column 8 to be green, we get this pattern of 7, of green 7 all over the puzzle. And then row 1, column 5 would be in row 2, column 1 and would have to be orange. How do I use that? I don't know, but I feel like I ought to know. Got this 1, 9 pair looking at that cell. Is that of any interest? That can't be 9. Not really. That confines 9 to these cells, which does prevent this digit being a 9, but that's hardly of interest. I wasn't trying to make it a 9. Oh, it's so interesting that these are definitely in my color scheme. So for this to be green, that has to be green. Then we're getting greens in these positions. Green in one of those two, it feels very familiar. Green in one of those 3. No, that's less constrained away. Orange there, maybe that's difficult. No, it's all about this and whether it's yellow or orange, I think. I mean, one of them is a 7. I mean, this is a fatuous comment, but one of these two is a 7 and one of these two is a 7. I bet this isn't a 6. On the whisper, you see, the whisper would have to stop there. That can't be a problem. There was no rule about the lines having lengths. There really wasn't. I haven't missed any rules, and I barely missed any deductions. I mean, obviously I might have missed a key one. Wow, this is crazy times. This circle and arrow could still use 1, 1 or a 2. I mean, that's not something I have to solve. I still have to do another digit and clear some fog somewhere. One was in one of those cells, so it couldn't be here. One in this row can't be there or there or here. If that's a 1, that's a 1 in box 5. Then that has to be 1. Then we end up with 1 in one of those two. One of those two. Obviously, we know there's one up there. Has anything fallen apart in that scheme of ones? I don't think so. I don't see how it could have. I mean, we were close to something when we were trying to put a digit here that wasn't 1, and it was problematic. When I had this coloured violet, and one of these two was a 1. So if that became a 2, we'd have 2 in the corner and 9 here. And a 5, 6, 7 triple. This would be 1, 3, 8 up here. But 2 there would have put a 1 here, so we would know the order was 1, 8, 3. And that 8 would put an 8 here. And I don't know why it goes, I don't see that it goes wrong. I feel that it might, but I don't see where it does. The other thing we'd get, actually, if that was a 2, making this a 9, we'd have a 5, 6 pair in this column along with 8, 7, 9. So all of these would be from 1, 2, 3, 4. And they would all see both of these cells, which would therefore have to be part of a 5, 6, 7, 9 quad in the row. This is quite interesting. So let's start with this digit not being 2. It has to be 5 or 6 if it's not 2. So that's a 2. And then we get this 5, 6, 7, 9 quad, and that becomes a 1, 3 pair. And we know the order. And that's where it goes wrong. Let me just show you what happens then. If this digit, oh, that's so interesting. Right, if this cell, red, was 5 or 6, we've got a 5, 6 pair in the column. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, and they all see this cell, which can't be 1, 2, 3, or 4, and also can't be 8. We would have a 5, 6, 7, 9 quad there. This would be the only place for 2. And I'd be writing 1 here and 3 here. And the problem I have with that is then putting 1 and 3 into box 3. The 1 would have to go here, but the 3, which would be there and looking at that cell, would also have to go here. Based on the pencil marking I've already done. Yes, that 3 by Knight's move rules out that. So both 1 and 3 would have to go here if that digit was 5 or 6. I mean, that is one of the most complicated steps I've ever seen in any puzzle ever. But if this can't be 5 or 6, I already know it's not 9. It must be 2. And we're going to be in exactly the same position when I found that 2 and it did nothing. Because that's going to give me a 2 down here and do nothing else, I imagine. But let's take it. I mean, that is a wildly complicated item. But But maybe the most interesting thing is I still can't get away with putting 1 and 3 here, because that's going to mess up this cell. They're both going to be needed there. So this digit in the row has to be 1 or 3 now. And Godspeed, that helps me understand what else is going on in the puzzle. I'm not sure that it will. I'm really not sure that it will. But this digit can't be a 2. It is 5, 6, or 9. And maybe we will suddenly have a little bit of a tipping point. There is another 5 or 6 to come in one of these cells. It would surprise me a lot if it was in this one. That would put 4, 3, 7, 1 here. They'd all get placed. That would be 9. That would be 1. That being 9 would hit this cell, which is quite interesting. I haven't seen that before. That being 9 places 9 in row 3. And that places 9 in box 6 and in column 8. I haven't seen this before. This might be useful. Obviously, we've got 9 there already. That would be 9 in box 2. And that would force 9 into the corner. Then we'd have a 9 in one of those two and one of those two. Maybe I have seen that before. Again, it's not uninteresting over here. For this to be for this to be 8 forces 8 there, 1 here and 3 into the corner. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't unreasonable, actually, to hope that placing all the 2s would clear some fog. And it did it heck. It didn't do that at all, did it? I've almost forgotten that my goal is to place some digits and clear some fog that way. It's hard. Right, that was 1 or 3. One of these is 1 or 3. If 1 is there, that becomes 1. If 3 is there, that becomes 1. No, it becomes 3. Sorry, if 3 is there, that becomes 3. If 1 is there, it becomes 1. Does one of those have to be right? How could this not involve 3 here and 1 here, or 1 here? Well, it couldn't involve 1 then. It would have to be a 3 in this cell for that not to get filled in that way. If that was 3, this would be 3. These are a 1, 3, 8 triple now, aren't they? I mean, I've only just clocked that in my uselessness. That's a 1, 3, 8 triple. 3 is looking at that cell. 8 is looking at this one. 1 is looking at this one. It would be lovely to just discover that some other digit was looking at one of those and I just hadn't noticed it. This one, I suppose, is not 1, 3, 8, 2, 5 or 4. This is 6, 7 or 9. Right, 1, 3, 8. These seem quite important. Now, I was saying that if these do involve a 1 or a 3, if that one is a 3, that places 3 in box 6 here. Oh, we've got yellow, yellow. One of these two is yellow. Hadn't really noticed that. That means neither of these is yellow, but 5, 6, or 7 is yellow. So one of these three is yellow. And yellow in box 1 is in one of those two, given the digits it's allowed to contain. Yellow can't be there or there in this box. Oh, yellow is placed in box 7. That one sees those two. This one sees those. That one sees that. Yellow is definitely here. Therefore, it's not here in box 1, and it is here, and yellow is 7. Holy moly. What's more, yellow is not green. How about that for a knowledge bomb? Yellow's going in those cells. Is this going to clear some fog? No. Yellow is 7. So yellow's in one of those two. And it's in one of these two, and it's not green. So it's in this cell. Is 7. No fog clears. I'm getting a bit annoyed about no fog clearing all the time. Neither of those are 7 anymore. Right. Yellow is here or here in box 9. One of those is 7. Right. That's not 7. Any other 7? Yeah. Oh, no, this one could be. Yellow, yellow, yellow. This one could be yellow, yellow, yellow. Green is now 5 or 6 always. So no, that's this. So I can take 7 out of these two. In fact, green and orange are 5 and 6. So orange can't be here, can it? By Knight's move, orange has to be here. And this digit is 9. That is 6, in fact, now, orange. And this is 9. And these are a 6, 7 pair. Orange is 6. How about that? And green is 5. And it's here. This is green. And, oh, sorry, I'm going to have to mute that. 5. Green has to be, oh no, one of those two is green 5. And one of these two is green 5. And one of these 3 is green 5. We know that one of these two is green 5. Now, in this row, those can't be green 5 because of the position of those and the Knight's move, so it's here. This is green 5. And there we go. We write a 5 in there. And now this can't be green by Knight's move, and this one is, and is 5. Fog resolutely refuses to clear. One of these two is a 5 and is green. Okay, good. Now, that's not 5. It's a 6, 9 pair up here. What about, oh, 5 by the Knight's move can't be there. That's simple enough. This one is 5. Yeah, that, by almost anything. That was 5. This is not 5. This is 1 or 6. Now, no fog will ever clear in this puzzle again until I get the last digit in. I'm now resolved on that. And it's vicious. That 6, 7 pair, though, makes this a 4 and this a 9, which is obviously not green. That's obviously not green as well. In fact, one of these two is orange because of the 6, 7-ness of them. Goodness me. Well, I mean, it was progress. It's all slumped to a halt, obviously. 2, 5, 8, 4. That one can't be 1 or 9. I can't rule out 3 yet, I don't think. Yes, I can, because I've got to put a 3 into this column. and 3 in this column must be in one of those cells, and they all see that one. So that is not 3. That is 6 or 7 and forms a pair with that one. So what's that going to do? 6, 7 pair. Oh, goodness. Sorry, I think there's something. That digit must be there and in one of these cells. This digit sees both 6 and 7. So that digit, which must be there, must also be here. So this isn't 3 or 9. I've got another 6. Oh, I've got that 6 looking at this cell. That's a 7. This is a 6. That 7 is looking at this cell, which is 6, and that one's 7. And now this is 6 down here. It's orange. And I think this is 7. Yes, I don't see why not. And I mean, there is a possibility the fact that fog is not clearing just means I've completely messed up the puzzle. I've been entering wrong digits forever. And I will never find out what I did wrong, because I'm not sure I have the stomach to ever go back and try and unlock this puzzle and see what was wrong if I've made a mistake. But this is a 3, 5, 9 triple now. They see this cell, which in my version of the puzzle is a 1. That's a 9. That's become a 1 in this row. That's a 3. We've got 4 and 6 down here. Has this got resolved? It would be, oh look, we've got a 1, 3 pair in this row in these wretched cells that have been sort of available for the longest possible time. 9 sees that cell and that cell, so neither of these are 9. This is an uncolored 9, and this is therefore the colored 5, and this is 3, and that gives us 5 here. And 3 down here? No, I don't know. But I do know this isn't coloured and it's not 5. This is now a 1 because of that 3. And we've got these two row 8, column 2 and 3 cells. We get a 3 over there, which seems okay. The 1 fixes 8, 1, and we get 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. 8, 4 here, 9, 3, 1, 3. Still no fog will clear. 1, 9, 4, 6 pair here. Well, that's painful, because if these don't get resolved by knight's moves, this deadly pattern of 4s and 6s, and they don't, then my only hope is to put in 6 here and 9 in the corner and hope some fog clears and resolves that little deadly pattern. It's still a very small flashlight. I was expecting the whole grid to clear at that point. What does that mean? There's no black dot connecting to the 8. That's what it means. 6, 4, 6. Clear some fog for me. Oh my goodness. I should really replace this thing's batteries, says Fedrelay. And I agree. That has had 5 solves in 16 days. And I think that's not because it's undiscovered. I think that's because it's incredibly hard. And look, nothing else. Oh, well, all the black dots got revealed eventually because they had, but that was the rule. I mean, that's manic. That is insane, that puzzle. Please don't write in the comments and say fairly easy, took me 20 minutes. It will upset me. Thank you so much for following through. Good grief. Have managed to get this far without mentioning the World Cup, and we'll continue. See you again tomorrow. Bye for now.